Legends, I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, we're going to be making some loud noises with the new Sonulab StompStation Pro. This is the expanded version of the original StompStation, which I reviewed on the channel last year. The original StompStation was about this big, and a couple of requests that people had with the StompStation was, as you can imagine, having a little bit more physical control. So this has 3 foot switches you can use to not only select different presets, but to bank up and down through your presets list. It has MIDI via 1/8 inch jacks. There's a USB-C connection. There is a wireless function so that you can connect this to the free VoidX control software. You've got stereo ins and outs and a little control jack over here. The big selling point with this, though, is that it runs NAM captures natively. No conversion on there. It has NAM A1 and A2 support as well, so it's going to be future-proofed. And what I want to do is just give you a very quick example of how I would set this up to actually use this if I was going to play live with it for a rock gig or for a ragdoll gig, just using the 3 foot switches. Then we'll dive deep into the functionality of this with the VoidX control software, and I'll let you hear some of the built-in captures, some of the built-in effects, and some captures using NAM that I've made. I've also shared those NAM captures with my patrons. They're linked in the video description, along with my free IR, along with some more information about the StompStation Pro. But for now, let's make some noises. Presets on the StompStation are arranged into banks of 3. So the A, B, and C foot switches will select the relevant presets in each bank. If you press the A and B buttons together, you can bank down. If you press the B and C together, you will bank up through the presets. Furthermore, if you press and hold the C foot switch, you will access the tuner. Now, what's interesting on here is these 5 encoders are all push button encoders, and they will give you instant access to different blocks. For example, I can access the amp block directly, the mod block directly, the delay block directly, and the reverb block directly. I can then use these encoders to select between the different parameters. So for example, changing the reverb, decay, or type, going into the delay and playing around with the feedback, the dry wet mix, and you do get this nice large indication of what is happening there. You can alternatively go into browse the entire grid over here. So that's fairly easy to tweak on here. It's not as advanced as using something like a touchscreen on a modern modeler, but again, as we're going to see, I think if you want to do any serious editing on this unit, just use the VoidX control app either on your computer or on your phone, and it can connect wirelessly. I'll give you a very quick example of how I would set up a bank of presets on the StompStation for a basic rock gig. I have a NAM capture of my Synergy JCM800 module that I've made in here. I've loaded it up with my free IR and used that on preset A, B, and C in this bank. If we take a look at the overall signal chain here, the rhythm preset that I'm using, A, is just the amp, IR, a little bit of stereo chorus, and a little bit of reverb. When I go to preset B, it's bringing in a wonderful stereo delay and a drive capture in front of the amp. And then preset C, I'm just using the amp, the IR, again, a delay, but this is a different delay set up for a rhythmic delay, and I've got that stereo chorus just to spread everything out slightly. Let's have a listen to these. You can also edit the StompStation Pro using the free VoidX control software. You've got the option of connecting it via the USB-C connection or doing it wirelessly, which I'm doing at the moment. I'm on my computer at the moment, but there is a VoidX control app that you can run on your smartphone. So this makes it very handy to edit anything on the go. You've got your entire signal chain available per preset on here, and you manage your presets, as you would guess, with the preset tab. So we've got a gate section, an expression section where you can have either a volume or a wah, a basic compressor, a modulation section that gives you multiple mod options, as you can see here, chorus, flanger, and phaser, but you also have the option of running all of those with a tremolo at the same time. And this is the pre-drive modulation section. There is a post-modulation section, but before that, you've got your NAMM-based drive block, you've got your NAMM-based amp block in here, a stereo IR loader. Here's your post-modulation block with the same options on there. A pretty comprehensive delay. We will play around with this because, like the original StompStation, I really like the built-in delay options on here. There's a reverb and there's a master section which lets you manage the global tempo, the volume, the input to volume, preset-specific tempos and levels, your controllers with MIDI CCs, and you can even change the preset color on the actual Stomp LEDs. So the heart of all of this is the amp and the IR. So this is one of the built-in Vox NAMM captures. I'm using my free LT TV Mix 7 cab IR. Check the video description if you want that one. If I wanted to change the model over here, you'll notice that I have loaded some of my personal NAMM captures in here. These are available for my patrons. Again, check the link in the video description. If you want to load these up, you hit the little show menu option, open the list, and you can come through and manage the included NAMM captures. If you wanted to load one up, you just simply delete it and then load up your own NAMM file. And again, this isn't doing any conversion. This is running NAMM natively. So we'll hear the Vox, then let's hear a couple of mine. I've got an 800, a Recto, and a Soldano capture that I really like. Let's roll with the Soldano for now. I really like that NAMM capture. I could play around with a couple of different IRs. I've got my other free IR, which is based on a Boogie 4x12 with some EV speakers in it. This one's a lot smoother and it's great for lead playing. I could load up two IRs in here and pan them anywhere that I like. I could also, of course, use them in a dual mono setup, meaning I could load up, say, my other IR over here, the LT TV Mix 7. I could pan both of these right down the middle. If you hit the set default value for these, they're panned 100% left and right, but let's do 0 and 0. So I'm going to basically just play around with the level on there. I'll go for slightly less level on that EV over there, and I can play around with the high cut and the low cut individually for these. So let's do that. I'll give it a bit of a low cut, bit of a high cut, and as we can hear, we'll go from that super smooth EV IR and blend in that greenback. thought that sounded pretty cool, pounding them hard left and hard right as well. Let's add some effects to this. So I've got this Soldano NAND capture in here. I can play around with the EQ. For example, I might just want to take out a little bit of low end on there and add some mid-range. Let's check that out. I'm stoked with that. Let's add a drive in front of that. And this does come with a bunch of built-in NAM drive captures, as you can see. I think the fuzzes actually sound really good, but let's just go through a couple of them. We've got the green box, the orange box, the black mouse, clone, pretty obvious what these are all going to be based on. Let's just start out with the green box. I'm guessing this is a tube screamer. Much like with the amp captures, I feel like you'd probably benefit the most from capturing your favorite real-world drive pedals at your favorite settings and loading them in there. But I do really like this Benson germanium boost. I really like the red and the big fuzzy in there. And the green box does what you would expect from a green box. Let's bypass that for now. The pre-mod section over here, I really like the phaser. There is, of course, a chorus and a flanger in there, and I like that you can use the phaser in conjunction with the tremolo. So we'll start off by kicking in the phaser on top of this Soldano NAND capture, then I'll bring in the trem. the main appeal of this unit is being able to natively run NAM captures on hardware, but they really have done a fantastic job with the time-based effects on here as well. They could have easily overlooked that, but that phaser sounds really chewy. The trem works very nicely in front of an amp right there. And in the post-mod section, I think the chorus does the whole stereo widening trick really, really well. We'll also hear the flanger as well. Like that faux rotary style sound I was able to get out of the modulation block there. Let's go on to the delay. This is the part of the original StompStation that I was really surprised by and that I really enjoyed. And essentially it's the same delay engine in here. So you've got multiple layers of complexity or nerdery, if you like, in here. I'm going to get rid of all this advanced stuff here. So if you just want your delay time or rhythmic subdivision, a bit of feedback and a bit of mix, that is really easy to set up. But you can play around with the tone and character. And what I like about this is rather than have different delay styles like a dedicated tape delay or a BBD style delay, you've got this BBD amount or tape amount in here, along with the stereo spread, high and low cuts, and then a stereo bouncing parameter, which creates this sort of wandering delay. It's different to a dual delay or a ping pong delay, but you hear the delay essentially move around the entire stereo field. It's awesome. We're going to hear it in a second. Then you can engage the modulation section and play around with different amounts of rate, depth, waveforms, where we've got a triangle, a sine, and a square wave in there, as well as the phase. And then you have the option to turn any of these into a dual delay over there. So that's like the delay workflow. Like I said, it's a little bit different to what you see in a typical modeler, but I think it works really, really well. Let's just have a listen to where we're at with 0% BBD or tape character. Also notice that I've been getting all these different shades of gain just by using my guitar volume control. I really like that about the NAM captures. They're quite sensitive to what you put into them. keep that delay as simple as you like, but you can also get into the weeds and create some incredibly character-filled dual delays. I like that you can lock the delay tempo either to the global tempo on here, the preset tempo, or you can just let it run free and dial in specific delay times. And we saw that down here with the second delay. I like that you can also just lock them together so it will scale up the feedback, or you can have independent feedbacks on each of those. So if, like me, you're a total delay nerd, I think you'll really enjoy this delay block in the StompStation and the StompStation Pro that I've got here. So what I've got is that Soldano capture. I'm just going to kick on a delay, I'll kick on a stereo chorus, and then I'll bring in a drive, and then maybe a phaser on top of it. It's really, really easy to dial this in. Last but certainly not least, you've got the reverb section, and you have a couple of basic reverb types. There's room, which is great for just a little bit of subtle ambience. I've been using that throughout the video. You've got hall, and then you've got galaxy, which is your ambient reverb. So let's hear galaxy. We will crank everything up, go for a nice long decay, plenty of modulation on there. I'll add a generous high cut, a little bit of low damping as well. I've got that same stereo chorus and delay on, but I've got this VOS 30 NAND capture, and I've got my free EV IR, which I also like for clean sounds. The final block is the expression block. You can have a volume or a wah in there. I like that the volume gives you the option to use that block as a dedicated boost. The wah has a crybaby or a vintage style in there. And again, I like that you can adjust the low and high points of the sweep. I'd probably bring the high sweep down a little bit on that. And you can set this up for auto engage. You can see this off value is either 95%, 90%, or disabled on there. So that lets you dial in where in the sweep you're going to have the wah turned off. Let's just quickly have a listen to that. I actually don't have an expression pedal hooked up, so I'm just going to move this position with the mouse while I play with my left hand. Wish me luck. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the StompStation Pro in the comment section below. Have you been wanting to check one of these out? Is this something that you're going to look at so that you can run NAM captures natively on your pedal board? And if you are, let me know how you're going to use it, because this would make Not only an amazing addition to an existing rig, it would make such a handy backup. Like that is so small, it would actually fit into most guitar cases. It would definitely fit into my guitar gig bag that I use. Furthermore, this would probably fit underneath certain pedal boards. If you just wanted to run a couple of NAM captures and use this with something like a gig rig or a Boss ES switching system that can send MIDI out to it, this could just be completely hidden. You could control it with the wireless connection on your phone and then just have all your existing pedals on your pedal board or your pedal switcher on there to do this. Or you could probably rack mount it in a rig and automate it as well. Please let me know some ideas for how to use this thing in the comments section below. If you want to support what I'm doing here on the channel, the NAM captures, the Patreon, the music that I make is all linked in the video description. Also, massive thank you to Sonulab for sending this out so I could make some noises with it. So much fun. I will see you all in the next one. Cheers for watching.